What's up, everybody? Colin here on the Doubling Down channel for horse racing on YouTube. For all your horse racing news, please hit that subscribe button. In this video, we are going to be looking at a data model for the Southwest Stakes, which is being run this Friday at Oaklawn Park. It's been moved because of the all the weather that's hit the eastern seaboard has really caused a mess, especially with horse racing. Aqueduct also had to move the Withers to this Friday. So you get two preps for the Kentucky Derby on Friday and two preps on Saturday, which makes it a very busy 2 days of racing. And on Doubling Down, if you go to the community tab, you can find a model that I've been posting that I've been working on to help us with our handicapping, to quickly look at races and give you a sense of maybe pace. It gives you top four rankings, and I'm working on an ABC model for those of you that construct your tickets that way. And so I figured I'd take a video and let's look at that data. Let's use it for the Southwest Stakes. This video is not going to give you picks, but it's going to give you a little bit insight on how I use that data to hopefully help you improve your handicapping as well. So for the Southwest Stakes, here is the Doubling Down pace model. My model is built off of the foundations of horse racing: class, pace, form, and speed. I haven't integrated form yet because we're going at this one step at a time, and we try to make it better with each adjustment. You want to test it for about a month before we make any changes. That's about where we're at right now with this current model. And the pace model, if you look on the right side there, there's a style of running that the horses have shown. Now, on a horse like the number 2, Decode, he only has one race. And he went wire to wire and he went 22:45 and put up a huge speed figure. So you have to take that into consideration when you're just using data uh, to know that, yes, it says dominant front runner. That doesn't necessarily mean he will be, because there's not as much data to prove that. He could be, and that's what makes horse racing so fun, especially with these 3-year-olds. But what I do pay attention to on the right there is the 4 Fs, and you can see them highlighted in the dark green, and you even have 2 horses in the lighter green. When you have 4 horses with an F style, that triggers my model to say that this is going to be a fast-paced race. And then it uses that info to then determine who gets a pace advantage. If it's a fast paced race, in theory, the horses that are on the front end, especially if there's 4 of them, might tire each other out, setting up for a horse maybe coming later. Pace model puts the 2 Decode on top, the 1 Reclamation second, the 5 Litmus Test third, and the 13 Soldier and Diplomat in fourth. So then what I like to do after I use my model is, because we are big fans of RaceLens here on Doubling Down, is I like to take a look at the RaceLens race projection. And if you sign up for RaceLens, you get this for every single race. And what I see right on the bottom right here is that it says hot pace. The early pace may be slow, but there's lots of speed in this race, and that could set up for a horse from off the pace. You can zoom in on the race projection. I'll do that for you. And it shows you that it has the 2, 3, 5, and 13 all going to the front end. Now, remember, my model had the 2, the 3, and the 5 all on the front end as well. My model didn't pick up on, and it had Soldier and Diplomat as well. Sorry. So all 4 of those match. And that's a good sign for me. The race projection will also give you a run style. It has 4 horses as an early speed, 2 early pressers. So my model and the RaceLens model are in line. So it gives me a little bit more confidence in what my model might be showing. So then we take the pace model and we'll go back to the top 4 rankings model. So now this is, after it's looked at pace, it's starting to integrate class and speed and a little bit of who the trainer is and a little bit of who the jockey is and a little bit of how if the race is being run at the same distance and surface as a previously run race for the same horse. And it combines that all together and comes up with a score and puts them into rankings. And my rankings have the number 2 Decode on top after all of that, with Litmus Test, with the 3 Butane, and with the 13 Soldier and Diplomat. So the number 3 jumps up because it was Soldier and Diplomat. We can switch back over to the pace. The pace had it 215, 13, 3. This one has it 253, 13, and 1. And so right now, that is what my model is seeing. What I then like to do is in RaceLens, you go to the homepage. I like to look at the entire field and quickly look at my angles. And you can see that there's none that are green. If they're green, like there is on this previous race, that means there's an angle with a positive success score and a almost neutral ROI. Doesn't necessarily have to be positive. That's just the settings that I've set up on RaceLens. You could do it however you want. I do notice the Spirit of Royal has a really negative angle here. That if the win percentage is greater than 20%, and it's a stakes race, just a word of caution there for that one. I did notice on the number 5, sorry, on the number 2 Decode, he has an other angle here. Second start when the last race was won by more than 2 lengths and is increasing in today's class. You would think that would be a negative angle. Actually has a success score of 7.8. And over the last year, in 327 races, hitting at a 34% clip. So that's a very interesting angle that you get on 2 Decode as well. So getting some flattery for the number 2. We had talked about only has one race that was at Oaklawn Park going 6 furlongs. He won by 8 1/4 lengths. Wire to wire in this race here. We'll show you the replay on the number 2 Decode. He's the number 12 here and just never in doubt. Puts this field away really easily. What you can do is take a look at that field. We'll look real quickly and let's see. So Reclamation was actually in that race. Comes back to running this race as well. He won his next start with a class rating that was higher than the class rating of this race. The third place finisher finished 4th next time out. This horse finished 5th, finished 7th. So not much coming out of that race as far as what they did next time, aside from Reclamation, who ended up winning on January 3rd in a maiden special weight at Oaklawn Park. One other thing to think about for this weekend, as I mentioned, that with the snow causing havoc, you'll want to pay attention to who's been able to train. And I actually noticed there has been horses. A lot of these horses' last workout was January 23rd at Oaklawn Park. Pay attention to the number 3 Butane, who's shipping in for the Bob Baffert barn, who worked January 25th at Santa Anita. His work pattern wasn't really disrupted too much. This horse was supposed to be entered, or was entered, in the Holy Bull at Gulfstream. Couldn't make that trip because of all the travel problems we've had. Stayed in Santa Anita, is now still entered in the Southwest, so we'll see. And then also the number 5 Litmus Test for Bob Baffert. It's another horse who had a workout on January 25th. As we get closer to Friday, pay attention to see which horses are getting those works in, because that might, when it comes to form, have some impact on the race. They're going a mile and a 16th. Litmus Test last time out in the Los Al Futurity won at a mile and a 16th. We can flip through and see real quickly. Rancho Santa Fe, the number 4 horse, has had 2 races at a mile and a 16th. October 11th at Keeneland and January 3rd in that Smarty Jones, finishing 5th. Rancho Santa Fe is a horse that's in my USA Steeplechase stable, who put together horses on the 3-year-old on the Derby Trail, and you get points as they get points. So he's one that I'm certainly hoping for. We mentioned Litmus Test Circle Tap, the number 6 won last time out at Oaklawn Park, going a mile and a 16th, coming from off the pace at 30-1 with Ricardo Santana and Dallas Stewart as a trainer who I love with some of these long shots. This is a $335,000 OBS sale purchase. Sire is Twirling Candy. The dam is Tappet. So as we talked about, the models showing that there was a lot of early speed, the number 6 Circle Tap might be one that I'm intrigued by. Same thing with Liberty National, another horse who has the last 2 races over a mile and a 16th. Both of those showed the ability to come from off the pace. I know that Kenny McPeak is high on this horse. I think it's the only horse that Rider Up Tim has actually put a future Kentucky Derby bet on. Number 8, Spirit of Royal, 30-1. Strategic Risk, this is a horse that I'm really excited about. I like the buildup, going a couple sprints, moving him over to the turf up at Saratoga. Another one that'll be a little bit more forwardly placed, so might have the first jump on those last 2 that we just talked about. He finished first in that Smarty Jones. Not many horses have come back to run after the Smarty Jones out of that January 3rd race. Strategic Risk, one to keep an eye on, the outside post. Number 10, Bricklin. Early speed. Baytown Dancer shown some early speed. Soldier and Diplomat has shown some early speed coming out of the Kentucky Jockey Club. He did all the work that day in that race. Got beat by Further Ado, but that was my note on Soldier and Diplomat. He was on the front end that entire race and just kind of got nipped at the end, getting passed by 2. So we'll do a little bit more of a deep dive with me and Vinny in the coming days on the Southwest Stakes. But I wanted to start to give you some insight onto how to use the models that I post and how to compare that to maybe what you're seeing RaceLens or maybe what you get in your own past performances. Real quick, we'll look at RaceLens. RaceLens has the 5 as a 28% winner. That is Litmus Test, trained by Bob Baffert. And number 3, the other Bob Baffert, ranked in 2nd. So we'll see. Check out that community tab, follow along. It's really been doing pretty well. If you go over to the app, doublingdown.glide.page, I post the results so you can very easily see, transparent about how the results are. I'll tell you right now, 26, 28%. We did have an off day on January 30th, hitting at only 8%. Prior to that, 20%, 37%, 12%, 28%, 33, 35, 36. So they've had some pretty good days with the on-top winner in the rankings getting the job done. Now we got to fix that ROI, because it's no good if they're winning and they're favorites and you're not making money. Exacta Box, the top 3 has been a style to use for those, and we'll keep working at it. In the meantime, stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button for us. We'll have plenty more for the Southwest Stakes, for the Withers Stakes, and for the races this weekend. Until next time, I'm Colin. Don't stop doubling down. Good luck, everybody.